Hey, welcome to show 267.
You didn't even say 3. You just said 1, 2. Hey, that felt a little.
Sometimes it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Hey.
Yeah.
Anyway, Doug Fields here. Download Youth Ministry web show. The Queen, Katrina Katie Edwards.
Trina.
The co-host Josh Griffin in a tie.
Dressed up
and
for a podcast.
Our senior pastor, Dr. Supertone Jason Carson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Doug Fields, everybody. He's the
I
other
said my name.
co-host. I don't know, but you didn't get a title in, so I wanted to just give the other co-host.
You kind of look like Jason Carson should look as the senior pastor.
That's true.
Yeah. Josh is wearing a tie. What's going on here?
I did
and Josh preaches 50-minute sermons.
50 exactly, an hour and 50-minute sermons.
Oh, okay.
I just finished a wedding. 2 of our volunteers got married, and it was a beautiful, fun little by the lake. Just family and friends, just a handful. It was really, really
How
fun.
cool.
Yeah.
On a Wednesday.
On a Wednesday. That's odd.
Are they just that horny? They like, we got to get married. Let's. Was that inappropriate? Hey!
We're back. 1, 2, 3. Here we
I feel like
go.
I'm blushing. I don't know.
You are. Or it could be the red of your lumberjack shirt.
Maybe.
I don't know.
It
was a
Buffalo
wonderful
Plaid.
wedding, and I'm sure they are going to sleep together tonight. So probably.
Maybe this afternoon.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
What's the show about today? Yay!
What?
We're podcasting
no
about
reception?
youth ministry.
That's true.
Woohoo! Let's talk about youth ministry.
There was a
I'm so
reception.
excited.
Speaking about youth ministry, Katie, you just got back visiting youth workers in Hong Kong.
Yes, Hong Kong. We were there for a week.
Do they know you're the queen there?
No.
Are
I'm
you big in
They
Hong
figured it
Kong?
out. They figured it out.
I'm totally big in Hong Kong.
Totally big in Hong Kong.
No, it was so cool. I mean, we have our church has a campus in Hong Kong, and so it was my very first trip visiting one of those international campuses, and the youth ministry there was just so cool. It felt like here. It felt like home, but in Cantonese. So it was just really, really cool. All sorts of fun, like games and music, and all the volunteers are reading Purpose-Driven Youth Ministry right now. And
In Cantonese
Who
or
wrote
in
that?
English?
they're reading it in English because
Wow.
English is also a language in Hong Kong. So they're reading Purpose-Driven Youth Ministry, and
So they're
just
wise.
totally just
discerning,
all sages.
Insightful.
Yes.
No, but their volunteer team is a little bit different than ours. So they have like a PhD on their volunteer team, college professor, a psychologist. I mean, like all these like really cool. I was like, wow, this is a really wise
Sounds like my volunteer
youth ministry
team.
team. But still like playing
So they looked at Josh and my book on 99 Thoughts for Small Group Leaders and went,
genius.
they
They were
laughed.
like, they read it.
oh, give me PD1.
They read it in a setting.
Give me something by Duffy Robbins, a real authority.
A textbook. No, but it was so cool. They've got, the youth ministry started 4 months ago. There's 40 students coming, junior high, high school, and college, and
Wow.
Incredible.
it's
wow.
just really cool. Like it's really countercultural what they're doing.
Run by a volunteer?
Run by a part-time. They have a part-time youth pastor there,
Okay.
and then all volunteers.
Sweet.
And
Rad.
it was just really cool. It was really neat. It's
What'd you learn about your youth ministry? Like, what'd you bring back saying how I want to be
From
different?
Hong Kong.
Yeah,
to
totally.
California.
A lot. Well, I think I just love how intimate it felt, and so even just coming back, continuing to think, how do we make our large group feel small? How do we make every student that walks in the room feel valued, feel loved? When you have 40 or less than that, even sometimes that can be a little bit of an easier thing. And so just continuing to think about, okay, how do we really just empower volunteers so that every single kid has that same attachment and excitement about being a part of the church. So that was a really cool just reminder.
Which crosses cultures, crosses
Absolutely.
Denominations, crosses sizes of ministry.
Absolutely. So, and it was just really fun to be a part of it. And to see something kind of countercultural in Hong Kong. It's not the traditional church there is, fun is not usually a part of it. Youth ministry is kind of a newer concept even. So it was just really neat. The students were just so, it's a little bit of a serious and shy culture. So then to see them kind of
Let loose.
laughing and a little bit louder than normal and some of those things was just really cool.
Yeah.
So, and they were loving it. So
Interesting.
it was cool.
I was in Korea a couple years ago, and they have a difficult time with youth ministry because there's such an academic pressure.
Totally.
Was it the same way in Hong Kong?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. In
So
fact,
like
the
kids after
seniors-
school we wouldn't even think of youth group because they would actually be studying until about midnight.
Oh my
And then
goodness.
they would get up early and go tutoring and
Yeah,
I mean, just
tons of extracurricular activities, like tons of everybody's playing 2 music instruments and doing trying to be well-rounded, playing a sport, doing all that stuff too. And then so youth group for the most part happens on Sunday.
Yeah.
And so there isn't a whole lot of midweek stuff and things like that because it's just students
American kids are soft. That's what I'm hearing.
Well, I raised my kids.
Yeah,
well,
totally.
School.
Totally.
No, we have a Korean bent in my family.
I think another huge thing I walked away with was the family piece, because over there, parents are really kind of detached from just like, is that a dog?
There's a dog outside.
Oh, okay. That's weird.
Don't worry, we have our own mascot.
Yay!
Just instinctive.
Yeah, it was so weird. But parents have little to no understanding of just teenagers in general. And so a lot of the youth pastors that we met with had said, we're really trying to engage families and help them understand that this process of adolescence and just some of the things that are happening in their teenager's life that they need to be aware of. And so just coming home thinking about communicating to parents, and just continuing to come alongside of parents and plant seeds and educate and all that kind of stuff. So
it's great.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah.
Really, really cool.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. Well, one of the things that who does a great job of educating parents is our primary sponsor, Orange.
The best.
Yeah, Orange.
Just look at that. If you're only on the audio show, I wish you could see the awesome banners behind us today.
Yeah, we're out of a studio.
We're out of a studio.
And so we did another show in here, and we didn't have the sponsor backgrounds. And Josh has them in his garage, and we said, let's bring them. And Josh actually made a good leadership move. Before I could mock him,
he mocked himself.
He said, I forgot, sorry. And I went, okay, because Josh, 10 years ago, when he would have got here, he'd made some excuse and just and then we would have killed him for it. Yep. And then he went home and goes, he thought through himself, his life, and should I even be in ministry? And now he just
go to Hong Kong and be a youth pastor.
Now he just comes here and owns it. I screwed up. So
still haven't actually brought anything with me when I'm supposed to, but I own my mistakes.
Yeah, and he was 15 minutes late. But other than that, we've got the
Someone's got to care for these volunteers. Someone's got to stay in ministry. Okay.
Totally.
Senior pastor.
Straighten that tie.
International guru of mystery.
Totally. Yep.
So anyway, we're so grateful to Orange, and we're all going to be at the Orange Conference. I don't know if you are or not, but we're going to get somebody from your team there. I don't know. We're going to make it happen. All right.
Maybe your youth worker or your children's worker, not senior.
No, the senior pastors go to that.
Are they welcome
if you would like to go and
you're this elevated age,
we have made an offer to our DYM members to give them a discount, and I should know what that code is, but I don't.
We'll tweet about it on the day.
No, we won't. Send your questions. Send your questions to webshow@Download Youth Ministry. Yeah. And if one of your questions happens to be, what's the discount code for the Orange Conference at the end of April, we will give that to you. But I know you save like $50 or something
it's a big deal. We need to do
the conference
and
is
we're going to hang
April,
together.
So.
The end of April.
All right,
the conferences or the code is good until?
No, I don't know. Let's just say webshow@Download Youth Ministry.
Here's what we're going to say. Pay full price.
Now.
We'll see you there.
And we're hanging out. We're having a
awesome.
DYM members dinner. We're doing a youth worker thing at night. It'll be
a blast. Workshops, trainings.
Is there a live show at the?
No, I don't think there'll be a live show.
See,
without you,
maybe that would be the tipping point. I would say I'm in.
Well, you can go to the conference for free.
Yeah.
That feels like a pretty rad tipping point.
I didn't even get in for free. What do you mean you can just go for free?
So you should just go for free because you can't.
And here's the deal. Between Josh and I, one of our rooms, I think Kathy's going, so...
Yeah,
Yeah.
So no comments from that one at all.
Yeah, so you can't stay with us.
Really?
I guess so.
Let's talk about it. Anyway,
sorry, producer Parker.
This is from John Miller. John says, I'm a DYM member, I'm an Orange curriculum user, and I'm 26 episodes away from being a rewinder.
Wow.
So basically what we say is, John Miller, you are in the Hall of Fame.
You are in.
You're on the team.
I'm still bummed Matt got canned because it led him to getting Pismo, but I'm glad to have Jason on the show because listening to the Supertones is as close as us Indiana Hoosiers have to being in Orange County.
Yeah, it's like fame every week.
I'm also going to the Orange Conference in Atlanta coming up at the end of April. Saved money by using the DYM promo code. I wish you told us what it was.
DYM promo code.
I was wondering who from your team was going, if you were staying long enough, had any availability to share a meal with a podcast web show team member. There are 9 Outbacks within the Gwinnett Center, by the way.
I'm in.
So, yes, we are going to have a DYM...
Well, only if you're a rewinder. I think if
So
you can't get caught up,
he has to watch 26 episodes.
it's a little ways away.
John,
How bad do you
John
want it, bro?
says the guy who wasn't committed enough to swing by his home and get the backdrops.
I couldn't
but-
be later. I just couldn't be later.
Anyway, yes, John. The answer is yes. We're going to hang out together. I can't wait to meet you.
Fun.
That will be
Alright, John
very,
Miller.
very
See you
fun.
there, dude. Right.
John Miller.
John Miller.
That
Good
name really
John.
stands
John.
out.
He's a golfer.
And he's an Indiana Hoosier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My father's from Indiana.
Really?
Cool.
Great story. Next. Sorry, senior pastors often don't have anything to add to the conversation.
Yeah,
Wow.
It's,
That's not
Hey.
true.
I'm
Hey,
just trying to
That's
be
since
honest.
since we have met, you
Yeah.
have launched.
we launched the church. Yeah, it's exciting, man. It really is. We had a great launch. It was so exciting, and the whole week leading up to it, it was like it would have been automatic to just be caught in the hype and just put on a good event.
Yeah.
But our team just felt really compelled to just say okay, are we going to open up our hands with this thing and ask for God's Spirit to be a part of it? I mean, such an obvious thing, right? But I think don't you think that all youth ministries out there, we can run a great youth ministry without the Holy Spirit? But should we stop?
Power of God.
What's that?
Chapter 1, Power of God. We
that'd
were
be-
just
you
talking
see?
about P.D. Williams.
That'd
Chapter
make
1.
a great book.
Yeah.
But
Interesting.
I should write something like that. No,
Already been written.
the idea though.
If you don't watch the show, you miss out on so much.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
A, the banner, the beautiful banners,
Uh-huh.
but also
Great banner.
Doug pretending to smoke.
My smoking bit.
Yeah. It's an interesting bit.
You're
That's
not.
nice.
I don't believe you. I'm just going to tell you that right now. You don't look like a smoker.
Never smoked a
hey,
cigarette in my
hey,
life.
Josh.
There you go.
Josh.
Puffed on a straw.
Candy cigarettes.
Yeah.
Oh,
For the
candy
ice
cigarettes,
cream.
that's a different story.
Yeah. Have we
If
cut
that's
you
it-
off?
Well, Josh isn't respecting the senior pastor.
Yeah,
right
sorry,
now.
I know.
I'm in the middle of a story.
Sorry.
Sorry.
I'm used to getting corrected by my elders.
Put the
It's
tie on.
Anyway,
Yeah, you want this?
No, we had an awesome time, just our team that week of just getting on our knees and saying Lord, this is
That's
yours,
great.
and we want your Spirit there, and
cool.
and that was our prayer. We prayed for people to get saved, for God to be glorified, and for people to find a church home. All three things happened. It was a big party. It was incredible what God did, and it was just really neat. And so then there over half the crowd was there just to support the launch and stuff,
Sure.
and so we just had week 2 just a couple days ago.
great.
It was incredible.
That's awesome.
We loved it.
Was anybody from the Fields or the Edwards or the Griffin clan there to support you?
Just the Fields. The Fields had a representative there.
Wow.
The Edwards and the
Wow.
Griffins.
What a surprise.
Yeah, it was a
cool.
no-show. No, I was
Yeah,
just
so
kidding.
we're
You kind of had a big event going on. Saddleback's 35th
Sorry.
at Angel Stadium.
That was on Saturday. They had time to come on Sunday. It's all right.
I don't even remember.
No, but your son
Sunday.
was there, and he brought a couple of his buddies.
He said it was
Oh,
great.
that's
He's
so
dude.
cool.
He said it was
Cody's
great.
a world of you too. You have been a huge influence.
He's
in
a
his
good
life,
guy.
which
He's
is
a good guy.
His dad's kind of a deadbeat, so it's good that Cody has some kind of male.
This is from Joel Friend. Joel says, I'm
That
a
was
youth
a good
pastor
one.
in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, a brand spanking new DYM member, and just
Yes,
recently
sir.
began the rewind process. Wow. He says it's been like striking oil of youth ministry resources. Excited to get started using it.
I was gonna say striking out, kind of like striking out when
Striking
you're
out.
looking for something.
All right, here's my question, a little setup. I've been working at the same church for several years. Our youth group's divided between middle school and high school that meets at the same night but at different times. We have a large enough middle school ministry that allows for us to utilize not only adult volunteers but high school volunteers as well. Our high school volunteers are involved in both small group and program aspects of the night. We have a large team that's on a weekly rotation. The volunteer high school student programming was something I inherited from the guy who was the youth pastor before me, but it's been a value program for our high school kids. Lately, I've been frustrated with students who have become unavailable to serve the night they're scheduled. This leaves their teammates to make up for their absence. Also, we have a weekly meeting that happens 20 minutes prior to our middle schoolers arriving. We use that time to let student leaders and adults know what's going on and pray for our kids and each other. For some reason, that meeting has lost value to our leaders, especially the high school leaders, as they become consistently tardy and disengaged during the meeting. They do sign a leadership covenant at the beginning of the year with on-time expectations. Some things I've followed through with consequences, but not all things. It's like our leaders just want to play in the game and skip warm-ups.
Interesting.
Sports metaphor.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'm doing something wrong, but my hope is for students to value not only the night they serve, but also the preparation for it. What advice would you have on working with high schoolers serving in middle school? what realistic expectations should I create for them? Good question.
That's a great
That is
question.
You had a similar pattern than what they're talking about, right? You did the
Absolutely.
the pregame thing is kind of your jam. I remember I was going, wow, that's so
Nachos.
much to ask.
You had nachos.
Yeah, what would solve it? Nachos. But,
No,
but every week you did it before,
we did,
right?
and my heart goes out to Joel.
Please don't use my name.
Did he say please don't?
No, you're okay.
Oh my gosh! I thought I just totally threw the guy under the bus. Anyway, my heart goes out to him because I mean, we can all agree, right? There's no perfect slam dunk situation for this kind of thing.
And being on time is difficult. Let's all just stack hands on
for some
that.
people,
Am I right?
Other people are responsible and respectful of others. But I think you, when you're working with high school volunteers and stuff, you just, that part of it comes with the territory. You got to have grace. They're volunteers, and you got to keep on encouraging them. And if you can find a few of those solid leaders that can set the pace, set the tone, pour into them, take them out to lunches, take them out to coffee, give them vision for how they can set the tone for the other leaders, I think that can be some heavy value for the situations. And be creative. I mean, I think anytime, this is a hard one because I hate to say it, even for myself, it really stings, it really hurts. But if you know that people say, this meeting doesn't mean a lot to me, you got to ask the hard questions. Okay, am I wasting people's time? And so it sounds like he's not, but he could be, or he could enhance it at least a little.
Sure.
We all can enhance our meetings a little. And so read Katie Edwards' book on how to build a team, obviously.
There you go.
Pour into your leaders, make things fun, get a couple people on the team that can provide root beer floats and
Nachos.
nachos and
Totally
things like that. Yeah, I don't know.
I like all those
Spice it
answers.
up.
I would say, enhance is a good word. I would also consider abandon. Like, that is a big commitment. You're already getting, let's say, an hour and a half or 2 hours a week from these people. That's a big commitment. And now you're asking them for 20, 30 minutes ahead of time as well, and maybe it's every other week or whatever, right? Rotation. I would go, man, is there a way you could do this once a month? Is there a way that you could do some of this digitally? Could you send a calendar and send a YouTube video? Are there ways to eliminate some of the every week meetings? Because you've now added, let's say if it's a 2-hour program, you've added, what, 20% to that commitment with an ad. I like it. I think the warm-up analogy is really cool. I'm on board. I get it. But I also go, what if you did 1 hour once a month and set up the whole month? And maybe that'd be a way to get some higher participation.
Try it as an experiment.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
That could be cool. I think too, I've had a few instances where I've pulled the high schoolers and I've done some things just with my younger leaders. So, say before I went to summer camp this year, I had a lot of incoming seniors who were leading at camp for the first time.
I like this.
And so I did a little kind of 10-15 minute thing with just them, and really a lot of encouragement and empowerment, and really I'm viewing them and giving them the same leadership responsibility that I'm giving my 25-year veteran, that same kind of leadership and expectation and responsibility. And so really kind of setting them up of, I'm counting on you, I'm depending on you, and kind of giving them some of those, just almost like those words for them to grasp onto of just leadership wise. So
Well, feel the weight of it.
Yeah,
'Cause sometimes when
totally.
you waltz in, you're like, I'm 20, I know exactly what I'm, and they don't feel the weight of,
for sure. And it's hard to do consequences when you're, you're also being, showing grace when it's finals week, and showing grace when things are crazy for them. So with volunteers, there's always that piece where there's that grace piece. But I think with high schoolers, every once in a while, pulling them aside and doing just some specific stuff to kind of who they are and their stage, and helping develop them at that stage could be cool.
It's good.
Yeah. Any other thoughts, Fields?
Well, I think 2 thoughts that I have. One is the old phrase that what you expect, you need to inspect. So if you really do expect them to be there, you need to inspect it, meaning you got to stay on them, you got to talk about it. You can't pick and choose what you're going to have consequences for and what you're not. You need to pull people aside and say, hey, you made a commitment. That's one thought. The other thought that I have is that leadership is it's a 24/7 type thing. So if I'm a leader of that ministry and I really want those people to be there, I've got to bleed that all the time.
Yeah.
There have been times, like I'm looking at this, we have a huge whiteboard right there. If I was to just lay out 30 years of youth ministry, if I could even remember what being a full-time youth pastor was for those times, and go, look at the times I was a strong leader, look at the times when my leadership dipped. And then what were the problems connected to each of those? Because it feels like when you're a leader, you're solving a lot of problems, and I go solve a problem, and I get this area all like tightened up, and now we're cooking, and then I turn back around, and something else is falling apart, and you just continually moving back and forth, and your leadership gets tired, and you kind of get tired of setting the vision. But I say this a lot, only that primary leader, nobody's going to care about your program as much as you do. Just bottom line. You can hire people to care, and they're not going to care as much as you care. So you wake up with a fire in the belly. You can't expect that high school kid to have that same fire in his or her belly when they go to youth group on Wednesday night. So they're going to show up late. They're just not going to care as much. And it hurts us. We're like, why, I can't believe it. Why would you not? And that's just one of the harsh realities of kind of growing up in leadership is going, people are not going to care as much as you. Now, it doesn't mean you don't want to get them to care.
Yeah.
Right.
Of course you do, but
sure.
You got to stay on it. You lead all the time.
It is a harsh reality.
It is.
And it's hard to lower the bar if you don't want to lower the bar.
Yeah, and so I think when I look at Josh's illustration, I'm not saying that he would be necessarily lowering the bar. He's just saying let's take those 20 minutes 4 times a month and move them into one.
Yeah.
So hey, we're going to instead of 80 minutes a week, we're going to meet 60 minutes. But then if somebody misses,
if they miss, then now it hurts. It stings.
Now
it's
you
rough.
you pull them aside and say maybe this isn't for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Being a leader sucks at times.
Yeah, I was going to say, being a leader,
just-
it's tough. It's tough. And
It's
it is
tough.
true. As soon as you turn around, everything that was cooking over here is now broken. And I think we don't also just in our personal lives. Like, there are seasons when I am on fire, and I'm like, I have so much energy towards this. And there are other
I've
times
never
where
seen
just,
that in you.
No, okay. Or there's other times where I'm like, I am exhausted. I'm beat down. I just need a break. Like, I don't want to lead right now. And so I think we have to just acknowledge if you're in it for the long haul, you're going to have some of that.
Every time I open my email, I say that. I'm like, I don't want to lead right now. There's so,
Hey,
like the
you know what?
pop-up.
Speaking of lead, that just actually is a nice transition to one of our secondary sponsors.
Leader Tracks.
Leader Tracks. I actually talked to Doug Franklin on the phone today.
Oh,
and he
that's
was
awesome.
telling me about his refuel retreats. So
I saw some tweets about that from some of the people that had been.
he said they're going really good. He's got a couple more left, and we've sent people on the refuel retreats. So we encourage you to go to leadertreks.com.org, one of those dots.
All the above. Both.
Yeah,
Both work.
Josh and I actually had a conversation about that Monday night because they supply one of our 9 monthly products for our DYM members, and they are so good. Every time I read their stuff, I go, dang, they're good.
Yeah.
So
they are
anyway,
great.
they're great. So is Youth Ministry 360, which is one of our great sponsors.
Love YM360.
We're going to have dinner with them in Orlando coming up
Code
soon.
this week for 20% off.
Oh my
Is that too
God.
much? Orlando. That's the code for right now. Orlando. Use the code.
They can get whatever they want.
Whatever they want. 20% off the whole store. I have no idea. Although what's funny is they watch the show and they're like, "We just set up the promo code. You're crazy. Stop this." And then I'm like, "Okay, I will."
Yeah,
But you haven't stopped it.
Orlando's the code of the week. 20% off. Load up the
That's
cart.
a lot, dude.
14% off. Is that better?
Maybe like 11%. Oh, 12%.
No,
That's my
dude,
favorite
stay
number.
with 20, and if we lose them as a sponsor,
Then I need to
It comes
pony
out of
up.
Josh's pocket.
Here's the thing: 20% off, but I'll limit it. It's for this week. When you're listening to the show, you got to be a current listener. If you're archived, sorry, Orlando doesn't work. It expired. How about
okay,
that?
for 7 days.
Okay, 7 days. So
They have
from
a
right
lot
now,
of
go.
great stuff, a lot of great
do.
curriculum.
We use some of it. It's incredible. Good stuff.
All right.
20%.
20% is a lot.
That's a fifth.
You're
Are you
welcome.
getting on right now to
You're welcome.
shop?
Yes.
Thank you, Josh.
You're welcome.
Hey,
Orlando.
we had talked about doing 2 shorter shows, so
Yeah.
should we end this
Yeah.
and then do the next show? We're going to talk about busyness. I'm not going to ask any questions.
That hurts a little.
Josh and I recorded a Mentor Me on busyness, and we
It
thought
was
we
fun.
need to do that as a podcast. So,
Cool.
ready to talk 25 minutes on busyness?
I'm
Show
excited to sit at your
268.
guys' feet
I'm
and
too
learn
busy
about
doing
it.
that.
Yeah.
We got to cut this one short because we're pretty busy.
We're pretty busy.
we
so
all,
we'll
we
see
all
you
have
next
to
time.
run to stuff. So, show 267,
In the can.
maybe the
Done.
shortest show.
Of all time.
Parker, 24 minutes. Is that the shortest show in the history of
Pretty close.
DYM?
Yes.
That was a pretty
DYM.
emphatic. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't heard Parker's voice in a month, and there it is, right
it is.
there.
Orlando.
Yeah,
Orlando.
Orlando.
Love you, Orange.
All right. Hey,
Bye,
go to
everybody.
APU too.